I told you that one of Honda's most soulful modern motorcycles isn't a fire-breathing superbike with track-ready electronics, but a chilled-out retro single that's quietly building a cult following in Asia, Australia, Europe, and beyond? This isn't just another spec sheet bike, it's a feeling, a rhythm, a throwback to when motorcycling was more about the ride than the rush. And honestly, I've fallen in love with it. I've taken my sweet GB350C through tight laneways in the city, weaving past trams and shop fronts. And I've opened it up on long, empty country roads where the only sound is the engine thumping and the wind cutting past my beautiful Arai helmet. Whether I'm chasing a sunset or just grabbing a coffee, this bike reminds me that riding can still be pure. In today's video, we'll take a deep dive into the Honda GB350, its origin story, the sporty GB350S, and the low-slung, custom-style GB350C. Let's rewind the clock and find out how Honda brought back the charm of a classic single with a modern twist. The story begins in India back in early 2021. Honda launched a brand new retro roadster under an odd name, the H'ness CB350, short for H'ness. But don't let the name fool you. Behind it was a bold plan to take on Royal Enfield in their own backyard and offer riders something familiar, but more refined. A few months later, the same motorcycle arrived in Japan, rebadged with a much simpler name, the GB350. And if you know your Honda history, you'll recognize that badge from the iconic GB500TT of the late 1980s. The new GB350 wasn't chasing numbers. It wasn't chasing headlines. It was chasing the feel, the nostalgia, a torquey, air-cooled thumper that just begged to be ridden every day, without fuss. At the heart of all GB350 models is a 348 cubic centimeter air-cooled single-cylinder engine, making around 21 horsepower and 30 newton meters of torque. Cool. It's fuel injected, it's got Honda's selectable torque control, yes, traction control on a retro thumper, a slipper clutch, dual channel ABS, and a deep bassy exhaust note that makes you grin every time you twist the throttle. It's not fast, but it's real, and that's the point. Soon after the base model, Honda released the GB350S, the sportier sibling. Same engine, same DNA, but has a more sporty and scrambler-inspired design. The S adds a more aggressive tank, it features a shorter front fender, a different rear fender, and a different seat design compared to the standard GB350. The GB350S also has a different rear brake light and foot pegs, positioned further back for a sportier riding position, just enough to give you that urban cafe racer vibe without losing comfort, different tires, and a slightly lighter weight than the standard GB350. Around the city, the GB350S feels sharp, responsive. It's the same relaxed thumper, but with a little more attitude. Then came the GB350C Honda's factory classic custom. This one speaks to the soul of Japanese bobber and cruiser culture. The GB350C is designed with a classic retro aesthetic, emphasizing a vintage look. It features deep fenders, long silencers, and plated parts that enhance its classic appeal. With a lowered stance, forward pegs, a fatter silhouette, and a more softer exhaust tone, the C looks like it rolled out of a classic custom garage, but it didn't. It came from Honda ready to cruise, straight from the factory, made for weekend rides, late night fuel stops, and slow rolls through scenic towns. So the basic performance should be the same as the standard GB350. Honda didn't just make one bike, they built a platform, one engine, three personalities. The GB350, the classic base model, the GB350S, the urban sportster, the GB350C, the laid-back, pure modern classic. Built with pride, embraced in Japan, Australia, India, and now catching fire in Europe. And loved by riders like me, who value the ride over the rush. If you're tired of spec sheet wars and overcomplicated tech, and just want a bike that makes you feel something every time you ride, then maybe the GB350 is calling you too. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments the standard classic, sporty urban, or the pure modern classic. Please like and give a thumbs up. A sub would be nice too.